So he was my facilitator. Yeah, so that's when we met. Then we just started interacting, we became friends. Yeah, then I think after 4 months he declared his love. Yeah, me, I was quite perplexed. But anyway, you can share the rest.
Yeah, so I was not looking to settle down. I was just in church doing my thing. And this lady got sent to me to work with her to do the class. But what happened was she came to the class, looked at her, and like she was beautiful and all, but she was dating a white guy. So when I heard the story of the white guy, I was like, okay, I don't have a chance there. So it took a while. I was like, the guy had not put a ring. So I was like, let's see how this goes. It was under 2 months.
Actually, I was going to Juba. We forgotten, I was going to Juba for 2 months. So I think Nakaona, hey, let me declare his feelings for me. So I was going away for 2 months. So I remember the day before I left, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Yeah, and now we started a relationship when I was away. And we would communicate every day, Skype and all that. So I was like, hey, okay, maybe this is serious. Then within 2 months, he's like, I want you to meet my parents. I'm like, we've only been dated for 2 months. Yeah, so anyway, it sounded serious. So I said, when we come back, okay, we'll meet his parents. So now I had to go tell my dad. So I was living with my dad and my brother. So now I had to go tell my dad, kuna someone, and it's serious. I remember that day my dad didn't even sleep. Yeah, so I told him now I'm going to visit his parents, and yeah, it's serious. So yeah, so I met his parents. Within 2 months, we told our dad, now we want to come and do introduction. Oh my God, but it was so fast. I think within a year, we did everything. So we did the introduction around October. Oh yeah, and then he proposed in August before the introduction. Yeah, that one I didn't see it coming. Yeah, and then we did the introduction, and then we went to now my shags to do the Rorashio in November, in a span of 1 month, because we had decided we wanted to get married the next year. So we wanted to finish everything in 1 year. Yeah, so it was quite a marathon. First, I'd never met someone who is bold like him. Like, I mean, me, I'm used to a certain way how things are done. So me, I know the system of you have to get to know each other for like 1 year, and then you fall in love 6 months. So with him, as in he wasn't beating around the bush, and I think that's something we are used to. So yeah, he just told me within 2 months, me, I want to date you, and I think I'm falling in love with you. So I liked his boldness and his confidence. I felt he wasn't scared, and he was ready to let out his feelings. So for me, that was a plus. Yeah, and he was this guy who was always doing things, like he was serving. He had served in church for like 2 years, so he was really committed to what he was doing. Actually, he was on a 1 year sabbatical when we met, and that meant he wasn't dating for 1 year. That's a commitment he made to God. So for me, I was like, hey, that's amazing. Then I even told him, finish your 1 year before, yeah, we date, because I believe that's something he committed to, and I'm happy he stuck with that. So his 1 year ended when I was going to Juba. That's when he asked me to his girlfriend. So yeah, I think those are the 2 qualities that made me think, okay, this guy is serious.
One, her beauty. So let me give this thing I say. So we were somewhere in a group setting, and in that group we would ask questions. So guys would ask different questions around anything, and so she was there answering those questions. And when we left as Jamas, because we were with Jamas, I started thinking, if I stay any other minute, someone in that group atanyemelea. So of course one was her beauty. She was really beautiful, and anyone on their right mind will not let that pass. But more than that, she was also very intelligent. Like, would sit and have a conversation for long. We'll talk for long hours. And for me, in a relationship, I needed someone who is a friend. Someone we could sit and talk and just get lost in that space. So she had that in her. And she was really young. She didn't say she was 24 then. That's why the dad didn't want to hear our stories. The other thing is that she was really disciplined. So what she didn't share, her mom had passed, and 2 years before that, or was it 3 years?
Yeah.
And she had really stepped up at home, taking care of the dad, taking care of the brother, and she was already like, I don't want to call it she was not your normal lady. She had responsibility at home, and so it shows how he'd go to work, go home and take care of responsibility, and I admired that. Remember, I was broke, so I had bought this cheap ring from...
It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
It was so nice.
Nilichangiwa. My small sister supported me in a way. I contributed some money, so I bought a ring. At first, I bought a cheap ring. She doesn't know. Then I was like, this one will not pass. Let me just step it up a bit. And that's how I talked to one of my sisters, and I put in some money, and we got a ring. So, so I stayed with this ring for almost a month. So I had different ideas that I wanted to do, but every time I was like, it didn't feel okay. So I pulled out. Niko na ring kwa mfuko, nimesema tutaenda place flani, and then I'll propose, and then I pulled out, and I did that almost 3 times. But this time because she's very detailed and she knows everything. That's a problem. So surprise
Where's the surprise?
So I needed now to pull something that will make us get surprised. So she had taken leave, and I decided to take her to Nairobi Safari Walk. So
no, actually you told me you've never gone.
Oh,
so I was like, you've never gone, I've taken leave, twende. Hey,
so it was the idea, so mini ride kwa hiyo. Kumbe it wasn't even me. So I went with that Nini to Nairobi Safari Walk. So we did the walk, and then eventually I gave someone my phone in the park. I take photos, I want to propose, and then I just went down and did the proposal. We got a really nice photo. From that, it's very hard to get those ones. It was really natural and nice. I think I pulled it off. I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
And it was this big silver
I love
ring.
It. There were 2.
Yeah.
We have no ring,
So,
but anyway, that's another story.
so that's how I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, it caught me by surprise, to be honest. Me, I know I'm a planner, so me, I know things. So hata ukijaribu kuni surprise, I can tell your behavior, I'll be like, yeah, there's something. So the other thing he didn't mention, he used my best friend to find out what's the best thing that would work for me. So my best friend, of course, knows me. I'm not those big, you do a restaurant, then everyone is looking at you. I'm actually very shy, by the way. So for me, I wanted something. She knew I would want something intimate and small. And so it worked because he rode on my plan. So, but I was very surprised. I remember the expression on my face. Oh my God! Yeah. So he just got on one knee, asked me to propose. Yeah, and I just said yes. But of course, I was like, oh, I was so shy. But anyway, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Be yourself. Just do what you can do. Number 2, the other thing is talk. I think most of the dating, you're caught up making sure the fork and the knife is correct, and how you've dressed. So talk a lot. So we would go to some place in Hurlingham in the morning before we went to work, because you remember both of us were working. So
and I was living in Athi River, so
the dating was a bit
tight. Imagine. I remember I was living in my father's house, so there's no way I was going home at 9, you know. So so what he just said, like, talk and I think do what works for you. I think that's what we did. Do what works for you. So for us, me, I was living in Athi River. Of course, he was in his own place, so he had, he could go home anytime. But for me, that wasn't the case. So instead of doing dates in the evening, we do breakfast, and we do breakfast close to where I work, where he works. So I think just do what works for you. Make it simple. In fact, we'd go to just like a cheap breakfast place, chai 50 bob, and like he said, it's not this extravagant thing. that you must do. And we used to really talk a lot, yeah. I'm Audrey Awor. Robinson is my future hubby to be.
I remember the first day I saw her.
It was back in 2012.
We were going to do Mizizi.
And she walked in and I was looking at her.
Anywhere I would have followed you.
It was crazy, you know. She was beautiful, young, and yet very intelligent and wise.
I could see him moving from edge to edge, like he was seated on one side of the sitting room. Then he moved like 3 times just to get close to her.
My first instinct was, because he was always, you know, asking questions, answering. I'm like, who is that?
She couldn't stop going on and on about him, like who he is. He's a man of God, someone who has a passion for God. He's a leader, he's warm.
What stood out for me was his confidence. And actually the funny thing that I said was, I would love to be in that guy's class. The next week, someone is calling me, he's like, I am Robinson, I'm a facilitator, and I told him, I know you. So he was wondering, I know you how?
My highlight is when they say, may you kiss the bride. Because I had this thing with the boys, who has the most minutes. So I think that record, I still have it. Zingine zinakuanga a few seconds. Apart from that, I don't remember most of the things. I remember the preacher saying some things. I'm like, can we just finish? It was already stressful.
I think we were so tired.
Before, yeah.
Actually, we were like, yani tumemaliza. I think for me it was when we were signing the certificates. I think that was my highlight. I'm like, yani it's done. Yani tumemaliza. I think was planning, but I'll never forget, a very good friend of ours told us that if you can plan a wedding together, there's nothing you can't do in life. So I think wedding, because there's so much emotions into it, family, money. You're planning for money you've never even had in your hands, you know. So I think, so the whole planning for me was a learning experience, I would say that, because it taught me to be humble. Like me, I was not those people to ask someone unisaidie, you know, kuchanga. But that's, I think I needed that experience to learn to be humble. And I remember that time I was in a new workplace. So you can imagine people I don't know, I'm asking them for money. But imagine, he told me, imagine we need help. So just ask. And I think that's the day I learned, afadhali ulize mtu akuambie, ana. Yeah, so, and imagine people came through for us. I think for me the big one was we had so much favor with our suppliers. Like we would meet a supplier and we would know this is it. You know, this is the guy. We had an amazing photographer. He was new, so he had so much creativity. Even the videographer was someone recommended by someone. So we just meet and that thing of being real, we would say, by the end we don't have 150K, we have 50K. And imagine she would say, okay, I'll do this for you guys, you know, and for me, that was so much favor. And even from my family, I saw so many people coming through for us, you know. And then we did a new way of doing things. Like, it's something I learned from my dad. Like, instead of asking people for money, ask people to support you in a certain item in the budget. I think that worked wonders. And it made people own the wedding. Like, my auntie, you know, paid for cake. She said, I'll support you in cake. And so, of course, when she saw that cake, she's like, you know, I supported in this. So that's a new way of fundraising. We also learned from the wedding, yeah? So I think, and then my highlight was just, wow, just seeing how people turned up, you know, like, it was amazing. As in, it was so much fun. I think I loved the dancing. But the other bits, like he said, there are bits and pieces. I think when now we are going through the photos, you're like, this was there. This was, as in, and sometimes when you're planning, you're so detailed. But you know, on the day, you don't even remember anything. So the grass looked how, yeah. So that's the experience I would say about our wedding, yeah.
Mine was, of course, for a guy is the budget, and that was a big challenge.
Yeah.
But because by the time I was starting to plan the wedding, the money was already over, because I had not remembered there is Korashia and these visits. Yeah. By the time they were over,
yes, my
money was over.
Yeah.
I have not even started the wedding. So that was a big challenge for me. Yeah. I come from Kangemi, so raised and born in Kangemi. and she comes from uptown.
Babi. You know, you have to say Babi.
Uptown. I don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
So when the first time we went to the supermarket after our honeymoon, her she's speaking things I've never seen. There is some what are those things?
Nini, Cocoa Pops.
I'm like, what where is ngwashe? Where are, you know, food? Because you're picking
sausages.
Sugar.
Because that's what I'm used to, by the way. So, oh my God.
So we fought in the supermarket. It was like those couples, you know, the way you're dating and then you say we will never be like that.
Those ones.
Now we are the ones. Apple. I think she was so mad at me, but I think that shock that we are just different.
Yeah.
Yani her, she's been raised differently, I've been raised differently, and now they have been eating differently. Me, I'm looking for ngwashi, I'm just seeing sugar and some things I have never...
Salami.
Those ones. So getting shocked. So that experience shock and background shock, that was a big one for me.
For the first year of marriage, I think like she said was, now you're different. You just realize how different you are. Like background has such a big impact. So hata venye socks pali zinawekwa now, and also the other thing is personality. We have different personalities. So, and I think one of the things you're recommended to do before you get married is do a personality test to know the kind of person you're dealing with. So our different personalities would bring some clashes. Like me, I'm organized. Me vitu zinawekwa a certain way. Him, whatever, you know. So for him having to adjust that, and also for me having to adjust that is not like me. And I think for me, the other thing that I would say, we had a very good mentor couple. I think for me, when I would say first year of marriage, they grounded us. Like I feel they were such a blessing in our lives, because now, of course, you fight, you think it's a big thing, but when you go and you talk with your mentor couple, yani you leave there laughing. You're like, enye ilikuwa ujinga gani? So for me, the first year of marriage, I felt we really had a lot of support, from our mentor couple, and they were really amazing, So he's called Efren Mwigai Mwaniki. So how Efren came, he came when I didn't have a job, so the finances were a bit tight, we didn't have insurance, but imagine he came, he was born, and he's just an amazing little boy. He makes us, he just brings life to us. And what else can I say about Efren? And he has both all our personalities. He's our grandparents, as we don't exist, by the way. So we always call, hi Efren. We are not there. So it just shows how he's such a blessing. And I think it's because we are both firstborns. So he's the first grandson. So everyone just loves him. From his uncles to aunties I have like 50 aunties, so he has like 1,000,001 grandmothers and grandfathers. So he's amazing, he's independent, he's very smart, by the way, and he's very observant. Like he'll look at you and he can understand what you're saying, even if he can't talk, he can understand what you're saying. And he's very intelligent, by the way. So
and for me, our son is such a big joy. And I always look forward to seeing him when I go home. I forget everything that is going on in life. And like he said, I'm praying, like she said, I'm praying that she'll have the genius of the mother, because the mother is very smart. So I'm hoping atakuwa uko sana. But we are glad to have such a blessing.
Marriage, by the way, is fun. By the way, it is good, it is fun, but it's also work. And there's a lot of intentionality about it. So, and then it's a journey. I think for me, I feel people think marriage is their destination, but it's another journey. Like, it's another part of your life. So I think for me, what I would say also about marriage is, you have to, I think for us, it was very clear, even from the word go, where we wanted to go as a family, even as an individual. What are your dreams? Where do you want to go? And it's important to have such talks.
I feel like she said everything. So I just add one or two things. One is learn to find things to do together. Number two, have fun.
Yeah.
Life is too short
Yeah.
to just make it too tight. So
Tight.
after everything
Yeah.
is done, if it's a holiday, take a holiday, go. If there are things that we could do that brings fun, go for a movie. That one we've done. And then number 3 is a vision of us as a family. So we are passionate about money and couples or family, and also just working with couples. So we tend to do that together. So a vision, system, have fun. And I think those, plus what she said, those are some of the things we can share that we've learned, and someone can pick something to do. So this is what I want to tell you, Audrey, beautiful wife of me, that it's been an awesome journey with you for the last 5 years. If I was to do this all over again, I'll do the same thing. I'll choose you the same way. I'll do this all over again. It's been an interesting journey of growing and learning. I'm happy that you are the mother of my son, and you're doing such a good job there. And I'm excited and happy the way you've brought so much life into me. I used to be very thin, and as you can see, I've added some weight and looking even more handsome, hopefully. But also to say that I treasure you. You are the queen of my heart, and I want to spend more years with you on this earth. More and more years with you on this earth. And I love you so much.
Aww. Thank you. My hubby, anyway. So, what do I have to tell you? By there, I really appreciate you. I think I'm always telling you, at least squeeze affirmation imepanda anyway. So, I really appreciate you. I think for me, like I said, I wouldn't have chosen anyone else to do this with. You have made me, you have really grown me. You have pushed me to go out and do the things that I'm passionate about. And I've seen your care. Like, you really care about me in terms of, you know, not just being as a wife and as a mother, but who is Audrey, and you know, and where is she going, and what are her dreams and her passions. And I think for me, that's something I wouldn't take for granted. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for allowing me to be me and allowing me to blossom. One thing I love about you is you don't limit me, you let me be, and you support me. Sometimes I come with crazy things I want to do, but you support me. And so for me, I just want to say thank you. And I love the man that you've become. I know you're going to do great things. You have a big vision. And I know God is going to come through, by the way, for you. I know. And your heart to serve other men, I love that. And God will reward you, by the way. He will. So thank you so much. I'm happy to be doing this life with you. I can't wait to have 5 babies. Yes. Yeah.
20. It's a wrap.
Yes, and I love you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.